when I first started training a lot of these big guys, Lance, Verlander, it was like I would do it for free. I mean, I didn't do it for free,
Yeah,
but I
exactly.
would be.
I get it. George Brett would play baseball for free.
My wife's a much better business person than I am, so she was explaining. She's like, they're going to think what you're worth. If you charge and you're good with your money, they're going to. And sure enough, as soon as I started doing that, the respect was much better. And I got more clients actually.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the higher I charged, the more people wanted me.
Thank you.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
This is Entrepreneurs the Playbook, where I give you access each week to the world's greatest athletes and executives about their personal and professional playbook and what has made them champions on and off the field. This is the Playbook.
This is Dave Meltzer, CEO of Sports One Marketing with Entrepreneur the Playbook. And I am here with Peter Park, not Peter Parker. Although he's so ripped, it could be Peter Parker, and he's just fooling us. Author of Rebound, which is the story of my life, both physically, mentally, and spiritually. Peter, thanks for coming in. This is going to be exciting.
Fun. Yeah.
A little bit different because the initial thought that I have is I wanted to have you on Entrepreneur the Playbook because I get so many requests being, a sports leader in sports, huge intern program. So many people want to get into physical therapy, training, nutrition, and it's their passion, which I appreciate, but they have no sense on how to build a business or make money to help people as well.
Right.
So how did you get started?
I started out as an athlete. I played I got my first love was volleyball. So I played in high school, then I got a scholarship at University of Hawaii. I played there a couple of years. Then I always liked the beach, so I was a beach volleyball player, and then, as soon as they shortened the court and put antennas up and you could block over, I was done. Literally,
Right,
as soon as they did that, I was pretty much done. And so I just started, doing trial. My sister was a world-class runner, and just one day I said, I'm going to do Ironman. And then I just started training for that, and then I always had a perfect, segue to training because I started out as volleyball, and I read everything. I was, always all the training techniques, everything. And then right before I did the triathlons, I went through a big bodybuilding phase because I worked in a gym since I've been 7th grade.
Why'd you want to work in the gym?
I just loved everything about training from the time I was, 10 years old. I was doing jumps and sprints and plyos before, I'd read these Russian things about what they did, and I would do it. I drove my mom crazy because I was always, jumping off.
Come on, let's be honest. You had 13 kids in your family.
12 kids. 12 brothers
total.
and sisters, yeah.
13 total, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
12 counting me.
12,
yeah.
That's it?
Yeah, 8 girls, 4 boys. Yeah, and they were all athletic, so I was always...
So you were driving your mom crazy just because you were one of the 12?
Well, and I was, it was a way, sports was a way for me to kind of get attention, because it's, when you have 12 kids, but I was super driven from a really young age. Who knows why? There could be a lot of family reasons, but I just...
Where do you fall in the 12?
The spoiled end, the 10th end. Well,
Yeah,
they kind
lower.
of forgot about me, and I got to do whatever I want.
Nice.
But
awesome.
but I grew up, and then working in the gym, the people that worked out in there were like world-class powerlifters. Like,
This is in Newport Beach?
No,
Or
up in Santa Barbara.
Okay.
And the stories, I could tell. It was like, I was known. They would go, okay, let's go to the back. Take this orange and do some injections in this orange. And little did I know, I was giving these guys steroids when I was, 14 years old. I thought they said it's vitamin B12, but so I grew up in this perfect, place where, I went volleyball, then I learned strength stuff, then I was a, triathlete for 15 years, 10 years. And then I learned all about endurance. I had this perfect background. It was like the perfect, you couldn't ask for it. It just happened very
you say
organically.
that, not to change things around. I listen to people that are successful, and I feel the same way. Like, I've had this perfect background. I got out of law school. I went into the internet, right, and all these things. And I was with, I forget who it was, and they talked about how lucky they were.
Right.
And I said, whoa. I really don't. Oh, I know who it was. It was Mike Tannenbaum. Executive Vice President of the Dolphins, used to be GM of the Jets.
Right.
And he's like, I got out of law school. And I said, wait, hold on a second. I know when you got out of law school that you had to work for $600 a month while you had $100,000 of law loans. So, this is for entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I believe that everyone has a perfect background. It's what we do with it.
I agree.
And the sacrifices 100%. That you made. Like, you were 10 years old, you were hitting the gym, you were doing all these things, and I imagine that it was pretty hard work and sacrifice throughout this perfect background.
Oh yeah, I mean it was. Yeah, of course. It's, you don't just get there. I mean,
But you enjoyed it.
I loved it. That was the thing. It wasn't like work to me. I mean, I outworked
you.
everybody though. I mean, if there was something, if I knew someone, I would travel, 5 hours to go see someone talk, or, I always just like, if someone does something better, I want to be better. I just was constantly trying to improve myself.
Do you think the
learning new
hyper competitiveness came from so many siblings, or
course.
just yeah?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Me
mean,
too, me too.
but it's funny because some of my brothers and sisters don't have that, But there's like a couple of us for some reason, like just like I would out,
motivated.
that's where I still am like that today. If someone does something, I'll outwork them. That's how I got in triathlons and work. But I always found myself with all the people I worked out. I was always kind of the leader. That I said there's like sous chefs and chefs. There's some people that just follow and see. But I always made up the workouts. I always wanted to do better. Always strive to just find out the truth. What really worked. So I think that's what kind of separated me from most people.
It's that enjoyment of the pursuit of your potential.
Exactly.
And you never work a day. Well, so now you have this perfect background that you worked really hard at. You have this great work ethic and perspective, but that doesn't make you a successful business person.
No.
What helped you transition your love and passion into making it into a business and you're very successful making it into a business? How'd that happen?
So what happened is then after, I was young and I was racing, I worked at other gyms, I just said I got to open my own place because there's too constricting. I didn't want to live by other people's rules in the gym. I had my own brand, I had an idea, and I didn't like the idea of a bunch of people working in the gym that had totally different ideas. And so I wanted to bring everyone, a little think tank together in my own little place. So that's when I opened up my first place in Montecito in Santa Barbara. And just started getting like-minded people. I recruited people. Like, a lot of my trainers are former, clients that were athletes that went to college. Almost, I think every one of my trainers just has a college degree.
Yeah.
And just, I can see right away where they're, where their head's at. And I don't want someone that just wants to make money for the summer. I want someone lifelong that want to do it. So I built this little gym in Santa Barbara, and of course, it always takes some sort of anchor, someone to bring you up to that next level, and that was Lance. I started training Lance Armstrong, and then from there I traveled with him all over the world, and I met all kinds of, I met Casey Wasserman, I met all kinds of people. So it just became this, and then they're like, oh, this guy's, Lance took me out of this little market into this big market, and I just ran with it. I'm like, Casey's like, oh, come, I'd drive 4 hours to go, oh, I'm going to work with Casey, he's got this sports agency. And so I just kind of found these networks and went after all of them, I would drive, like I said, 5 hours to meet one guy for, 30 minutes just to get that connection. And I'm still like that today. I still do that. It's just, the squeaky wheel gets the oil kind of thing. And I was good. I mean, I had confidence in myself. I was very good. And once I got that out there, it just kind of became
And I think it's interesting because I see the difference in you compared to a lot of what aspiring physical therapists, trainers, gym owners, all these other people. And one of the differences, most successful people carry an energy, and here's how I explain it. If I could tell you today, for your book, for example, that it would take 25 no's until this became a New York Times national bestseller, that you find, McGraw-Hill as the publisher or whatever. And it's Chicken Soup for the Soul. We're talking about my book. Jack Canfield told me that 200 no's, right? Until they have the #1 best-selling book of all time, 500 million books sold. But if I told you, right, it was going to be 25 no's, and I could tell you, you know what, on the 26th person that you took this book to, they're going to say yes. Think how good you'd feel about the first no. Right? And then think how great you'd feel about the 25th no. You have an attitude and an energy that, as this belief of the value that you're bringing, that has that perspective and I call it just plain faith. Right? You have faith that what you do, and that's why you go see Casey and you'll go, Karch Karai and Lance Armstrong and all these, Stanton, all these guys. It's a belief more than it is. It's this combination of you're like a burro, you're not going to quit. You're going to outwork everyone. You have this energy about you, but you also have a value that, hey, I'm bringing serious value and confidence in it. Therefore, I'm willing to go way to the extra mile where it's completely empty. And if I get a no, I just think it's a request, from the universe for a little more information. Eventually, I'm going to get what I want.
Exactly. And with training, what I found with guys like Verlander, I mean, they just know I really give a shit. And it's like I form a team around them. If they can't find something, I'll find it. It's not just training. I mean, there's a lot more going to that. It's not like they leave and I forget about them. Half my stuff is, I get in trouble with my wife actually. People text me, what should I eat for dinner tonight? Athletes,
Right.
Like I'm at this restaurant, what should I order? My wife's like, are you serious?
Right.
But that's my job. It's a 24/7, never stops.
Yeah, I do business coaching the same way, and I have 4 children and my wife, and I'm kind of on call from 4 a.m. to 11 p.m.
100%.
But she also knows that I enjoy it.
I do. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I get a kick out of someone saying, "Hey, I'm in this business meeting." It steps out. What should I say? And I love it the same way you do about like picking out my meal. Interestingly enough, one of the biggest failures I see from people like you is that they don't. They're not able to ask for money. So Justin Verlander,
right.
They immediately are like, "I'll do it for free."
Right.
Right. And I have this real strong philosophy about value.
Right.
Can you help? Explain to these entrepreneurs that you got to hold your value, and how do you actually ask for money?
Because I found when I first started training a lot of these big guys, Lance, Verlander, it was like I would do it for free. I mean, I didn't do it for free,
exactly.
but I would be.
My wife, George Brett would play baseball for free.
My wife's a much better business person than I am, so she was explaining. She's like, they're going to think what you're worth. If you charge and you're good with your money, they're going to. And sure enough. As soon as I started doing that, the respect was much better. And I got more clients actually.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the higher I charged, the more people wanted me.
Thank you.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, like, okay, I'm $400 an hour. It's like people call me, I'm like, are you serious? Wow. I just said that because I didn't want any more clients.
Yeah.
And it ended up being, and now it was a big lesson. Like, if you just give things away all the time. I give my stuff away with kids and stuff, but
And I think it's important in some advice that changed, because the same thing with my business coaching and speaking. When I speak for a corporation, right, I charge a lot.
Right.
And I'm worth it.
Yeah.
But for every paid engagement, I speak at a school for free.
Exactly.
One for one.
Mm-hmm.
On my coaching, what I've decided to do is when I started, because I wanted to have value, but I also had to learn my trade like you did. I had to prove my worth and value, not only to them, but to myself. When you first started as a trainer, you're good, but until someone else is telling you, "Oh my God, you changed my life."
Yeah.
You see I see the results in you,
Yeah.
but if I saw that result, it brings more confidence. So I think charity is a good way to do that, where you tell someone, "Look, I'll work with you, but donate this much for the first 3 months to charity.
Yeah.
After that, right, I want to prove myself." How do you deal with the giving component? Because I know you do a lot.
I love that.
For
Well,
charity.
for me, it's like I get all kinds of emails on like Instagram. Like for instance, I met with one guy. Just trainers will text me. Oh, I'll say, meet me for coffee, and then freak out. They're like, what? Like, yeah. I mean, it's like I'm not God. I mean,
right.
I love helping young people that are into it and not making all the mistakes I made.
That's funny.
Because interns and that's kind of just to be a mentor. That's with the kids. That's where I still have kids I trained. I mean, I have like 5 groups of kids I've taken all the way through freshmen to, they still call me. I was like, when I was training them, I was like their second dad. If they were in jail, they'd call me.
Right.
It was like they'd call me before their parents.
I would say you're close to someone if they know you'll be there at 2 in in Mexico to take them out of jail.
No, exactly.
That was my
100%.
litmus test for friendship.
So that's where I just giving back to this because there's so much bullshit out in the fitness community, where there's so much with the Instagram and people don't know where to go. It's like the simplest programs are often the best, but you get America has so many variables, so many choices that people just don't even know where to start. Is it keto? Is it paleo? Is it vegan? Is it CrossFit?
Rebound. I know that. That's where
is it what's the best I mean, it's just often the simplest, like 3 exercises, do it consistently, move better, and eat good. That's all you need. But people think it's so complicated because the media makes it sound so complicated. It's not.
So I have a philosophy called the zero effect. Like, I believe that we're exponentially successful, especially in health, by doing things consistently. And what happens is, and the reason I believe that is, I believe that if you do something every day consistently, it goes from your cellular memory into your neural pathways,
100%.
into your unconscious.
Same thing with training.
Right, and so your energy can actually shift. On that consistency, what are 3 things that people can do consistently to really change their health?
Get rid of sugar, move more, and find some sort of movement practice, learning how to just get your patterns back. People from sitting so much forget how to squat, they can't move. They look like they don't play enough. They're like robots. They don't crawl on the ground. They don't do anything. They walk like robots. So just moving more.
Punch robots.
Yeah,
There's not
enough, movement and play and the eating, of course, is 100%. Get rid of sugar and processed food, and that's 90% of the deal.
That's amazing.
It's not that hard. It's just taking a little willpower, but it don't make it complicated. It's not.
And for someone that works all day in a chair, like how often should they get up and what movements should they have?
Of course, if they can go for a 10-minute walk at lunch.
Yeah.
Do a 1 in the morning and a little, maybe something after dinner. That's 30 minutes. Anyone can do that.
Right.
And that's enough to, walking is a complex movement. It is.
Right.
But people just don't do it enough. And if they just cut back on their food, they're eating a little bit and just, they get rid of the processed food. They'd be, almost there. It's just, they don't move enough. People just don't, we're stagnant.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people make the mistake, I always say that, you're sitting in a chair all day, don't go to a spin class if that's your only exercise. You're sitting in the same position again. Just reinforcing that again. Do something, row or do something out. I always tell people to try to get outside.
Yeah.
Don't be a treadmill, guy with a rat on a treadmill. Just if you can get outside to do something.
Play with some kids. I'll tell you. You talk about complex movement.
Yeah,
Find
follow your
yourself a
2-year-old for
exactly
for 2 hours and do everything they do.
I have an 8-year-old, and they have the Play 60 program. I said, if they could institute that to parents, that you should play 60 minutes with your kids, our whole society would change.
Oh yeah,
because
just playing more. That's the key word.
Exactly.
People don't do that,
and it's so good for your relationship with your children. Well, last question.
Okay.
You've had this unique career, which most people, when you think about it, is as hyper competitive to me, if not more, than all the people that want to be sports agents. Right? I always I laugh. I always say, know what you want to do and what about it. You're a person who, since you've been 10, have been more interested than interesting. You've really done the work.
Yeah.
What legacy do you want to leave when it's all over?
I just, people search the truth. The truth will always be out there. You find the right people, the right mentors, search for what really works. Don't fall for the fluff. Just look for what works, and it'll guide you the right way.
Do you believe the truth is simple?
Yes. If you really search it and you're really passionate about it, and you do, you really passionate about it, you're going to find the truth. If you're not, you're not. If you don't care, if you just want to do it for the money, you're not going to find it. But if you're doing it because, I would do this. I do most of the stuff now because I want to, not because I have to. Like if I choose a client, like an athlete now, it's like, I want to train you. I don't have to deal with the bullshit anymore.
Well, I'm out, I guess.
No.
Anyway, I really enjoy that because you are living proof of what I believe is the best piece of advice that I give people, which is have a consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit, enjoyment of the pursuit of your potential or the truth. And that really, to me, defines Peter Park.
That's exactly what I strive to do.
That's awesome. And I encourage you to pick up Rebound. This is going to be my next reading on an airplane. I'll plow through, and I'm going to use
I'll be texting you, asking if you're actually doing it.
Oh, I will. This has pictures, too, so it's right up my alley. Anyway, I really appreciate you coming on the Playbook. This is Dave Meltzer, CEO of Sports Zone Marketing, here with Peter Park and the Playbook.